I'm seasoning the glass.
Red Solo Cup, I fill you up. Let's have a party. Let's have a party.
Guys, Wednesday. She's such a messy drinker. What are we looking at today? We are looking at Runabout Red, an American amber ale from Sebago Brewing Company. This one is unknown on the alcohol percentage. That's what their caps look like. This was another one from Tardisius. And yeah, I seriously, I got the beanbag chair right there. I told you what I was doing. Got a fresh bag of Cheetos all ready to roll if you want to come on over. I've been asked by a few people. The last one was Travis, DJ Alkaline 1, yesterday. He was wondering, because I talked about how the JP felt kind of light in comparison to some other 308s. In all honesty, I have absolutely no idea what the average is, so my little postal scale, well not little, but my postal scale goes to 12 pounds, and then anything beyond 12 pounds it errors, and that was the first thing it did, so I had to go upstairs and use the bathroom scale, and it is 12 pounds, 8 ounces without ammo in it, because there's so many variations. I have 10 round mags, which I thought would probably be best for bench shooting. I mean, it's not like, I don't know, maybe if you just want to go crazy. I also picked up some 20 rounders, and I found out last night that Magpul does make a Gen 3 with a window, and it's a 25 rounder, so I have a couple of those that should be here maybe tomorrow. And I have to give credit. Of course, I gave him credit in the video, but I got yelled at by Chris along with company for not kissing his ass. And in all fairness, there's two companies, Chris, that I wanted to deal with when it came to getting a 308. A bunch of us, the inner circle, the get-together group, we had a pact that if anybody won a big lottery, it was Reapers and Real Dolls for everybody. If you don't know what a real doll is, go look it up, because the first night that we did, we roughly spent about 4.5 hours doing extensive research on the real doll. And the Reaper, the LWRC Reaper, is made by LWRC, and the Reaper is the 308. And it is honestly one sexy beast. It is also a side charger. They probably have more, I guess when it comes down to it, like more cosmetic things, like for instance the fluted barrels. But this one here is all business. That the Cryo Supermatch, they are supposed to be one of the most stable barrels. Anything from the cold bore shot all the way up to, you can find a video on YouTube where some company that takes care of, I guess somewhere there's an extensive problem with feral goats, and they literally fly around in a helicopter all day long. There's two guys hanging off this helicopter, and they each have two JPs, so when one gets too hot to shoot, they switch to the other one. And after a couple of years of service, I mean, literally, this is all they do all day long, is fly around and shoot shit from a helicopter. Well, I was going to say, I don't think it gets much better than that, but I've always kind of had this dream of that my job was to certify prostitutes. Okay. So, yeah, The JP barrels are just designed to run through all conditions, and their break-in procedure is quite apparent of that. I mean, it doesn't really get much more vague. Well, go ahead and fire 10 or 20 shots between cleanings. Okay, so 12 pounds. Yeah. I took them. 12 pounds, 8 ounces without ammo. So it's obviously a little on the hefty side. Got to keep in mind of that 12 pounds, 2.5 of it was the scope alone. Okay, whose opener haven't I diddled in a while? Seems like there's a whole pile of them that are missing, but we're gonna be getting a visit very shortly. Johnny got between Johnny and not too much after that will be Travis and hopefully Jeremy Dead Winter and Jeremy Pre-Dawn Death. I'm sure right now Jeremy Pre-Dawn Death caught that I listed him last, and there's a reason. Okay, let's give this a little pour. Okay, good carbonation. You're a weirdo. Guns and prepping. Yeah, I prep. Mostly beer. That's a whole side story right there. Seeing how, a few of my friends, and one of them is a very good and close friend. His YouTube channel may even foreshadow that. Are preppers. But, in the case of New York Half-Ass Prepper, I don't really put him in that whole, he's going to be on a TV show because he's just a freaking nut. He's just like what I like, well, I'm not quite to his level. Right now he's nodding his head. But he's like that MacGyver realist kind of a prepper. It's like you plan for the shit that you could possibly predict and a little bit of the stuff that you can't. But there's so many variables. I mean, I had one time someone asked me, it's like, don't you have all sorts of food storage and blah, 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 blah. Oh, you mean like the people that had like $100,000 worth of preps in their basement and they took a little vacation and their sub pump failed and voila, everything destroyed. So what are you prepping for? I'm prepping for this weekend. Okay, so it's got kind of a dark amber, maybe even a slightly reddish hue. Sounds like I'm missing something. I haven't reviewed this one, right? That would be embarrassing to review the same beer within a week of the previous one. Well, got the glass has a good seasoning, so we've sealed in all those luscious beer flavors. A little bit of a citrus hit right at the beginning, and that bleeds off very rapidly. Not really a dry or a bitter area, just maybe a moment where you're like, is that it? Something that a lot of Travis's clients say. Speaking of which, where in the hell has Heffy 67 been? I mean, I don't know. Probation violation again? Yeah, kind kind of a little bit on the dry side, a little citrus hit, little nothing kind of land. And then it kind of pours on almost a caramel semi-sweet malty kind of a finish. And that's it. Not a lot of complexity, but decent on the flavor. Really, it's got that little thing going on, like hey, I'm all full of alcohol. Look at me cling to the side. You know, it's a medium light or a light heavy mouthfeel. Alcohol, I think, is once again ridiculously low. And on a craft beer, personally, this is my own opinion. But in a craft beer or a small batch brewery or whatever, if you're gonna do the shit, do it right. It needs to be, I don't know. I'd set, if it was me and I was like a brewmaster somewhere, or at least the guy walking around drunk all day long, having other people do shit. See, Chuck, how that shit works. I would have a set minimum standard 6%. 6%. That would be like the minimum, and that would be like a light offering. Anything else, I just personally think needs to be 10% or higher. And I understand. I don't know how you do it because you got a lot of shit tied up in real estate or storage and whatever. But brew up something that's like 14% by volume and just let that shit sit for a year, because everything that I have had that, like the one, whatever, the unpronounceable one, that NIHOP sent me along with the cigars, I can sum that one up by saying, damn, that was such good beer. And the only thing I've had that even remotely gets me to what that was like was the year plus aged Dogfish Head 120 that Johnny gave me. Did I ever finish the story of Christopher whining that I probably did? Yeah, so it was either going to be a Reaper or it was going to be a JP. I like the idea of the JP because JP Enterprises is right here in Minnesota. Not really. I know right now Chuck's going, what the fuck does that matter? Really, in the big scheme of things, nothing. But, there's something sort of cool about the fact that it's made right here in my state. And at least I can say that they do at least one thing right. Libtards, Muslims, fuck them both, but JP Enterprises, cheers to them. And the way they treat their, maybe I should punch Christopher now that I think about it. I could have been out the door with the scope on the baddest ass LWRC Reaper that's made, and I would have had an extra $3,000 in my pocket. Let's be fair. At least an extra $2,000 in my pocket. I don't regret my decision at all. You pull the trigger on that. If you're here for the shoot and meet all the criteria for me to let you shoot that, you'll know what I'm talking about. Because this is a brew review. Yeah, that up front, it's kind of got the dry, bitter, almost like, like a good homemade, not overly sweetened sun tea. That was what I mean by that kind of that dryness, but the presence of the flavor is still there. Oh, I was supposed to guess on the alcohol. Or did I guess? I don't know. Low. It's under 5. It's not going to be under 4, or they lose all accreditation with the me. So if it's not a 4 and it doesn't go above a 5, then it demands that I just call it a 4.5. 4.5% is what my guess is. on the E scale. Where does this fall on the E scale? Drinkable. Life is short. Don't drink shitty beers. It doesn't fall under the shitty, but it doesn't really fall under the, it's not, there's just like a moment where you got a little chill under your skirt, but it never puffed. So I'm gonna give Runabout Red. It's like a 6.5. 6.5. Yeah. Which we look at tomorrow. I'm glad somebody always asks. Speaking of NIHAP, Bright Ale from Half Full. Established in 2012, 5.2%. We can't guess this one. And again, like always, if you want to go to the brewery, they give you a map. So let's take a look at this. Debating. Yankee 4 just uploaded a vidya. Let's go check that out. The big shoot. Okay. I was considering taking a look at something, which obviously wouldn't be the very first thing. It's like properly season that glass with a Valentine habit. What do I have in here that we could quickly examine that isn't completely worthy of its own spotlight? I don't know, as good a time as any. Planning on ordering up some Chinese tonight because the kids are home. Well, one of them, and the new boy toy. I'm sure I probably say this every time. He's not a bad guy, but this one's a little bit more. When you hit the tuning fork and you listen, a little bit more in tune to my little Sammy Poo, because they're both motorheads. The Dragon's Tooth. I'm going to be pairing this with Chinese. 7.5%. Asylum Brewing Company. And they are out of... I have no idea where they're out of. I'm sure it's on here somewhere. I'm just missing it. And you're standing here watching a guy try to find it. Seattle, Washington. See? This is something I've looked up before, but this was something that 504, Dirt. And I've heard other people call him out by name, and I have in the past, so it probably doesn't give a shit, but Roy, he's a good dude. Link will be down below if you're not already subbed to him. What? Try not to fall down the stairs, will ya? I know this shit right here is right up her alley. This is the kind of crap she really likes. But we've already looked at this, and I said I would do it as a throw-in somewhere to see if my taste buds have changed, or I don't know. I'm assuming that once they start something, they probably pretty much keep it the same. How much it changes from batch to batch. I don't know, I guess you could have an employee take a whiz in the tank. That would change things, because cleanliness is a very important thing when it comes to brewing. And no, I have not done it yet. I've got a kit from Lily. God, what was that, last year's birthday present from her? And then the mystery one that showed up. And, yeah, and I've even been egged on more than once. JR10 did a video basically calling me out, saying get off your ass, that this is not that. But if you're going to do your own brews, I tell you, sanitizing. It's like, I personally think these dudes that sanitize for beer take more into it than a doctor about to perform heart surgery. Full-bodied and complex imperial oatmeal stout. So right off the bat, there should be nothing that I wouldn't like about that whole proposal. I love me my oatmeal stouts, especially Lake Superior Brewing. I should probably start getting up on getting the refrigerator stocked with some shit. Okay. Yeah, let's just do this as a throw-in. Travis, you know exactly at what moment I was in the brew review. And yeah, you do need a fucking vacation. And it's going to be here at the end of the month. It's not the only thing about you in the end of the month, if you know what I mean. You bitch. Okay, well, we got to take care of this. And if it's a dragon, I've got just the opener from Addicts. The gargoyle opener. You know, it'd be awesome, Chuck, if you could purchase firearms or a vehicle with bottle caps. I'd even get you some, you cheap prick. Oh yeah, very dark. Dark. Again, you know, I apologize. These are my own thoughts. Could be alcohol induced, but do you know statistically, everything that the black community is complaining about and how they're treated by white cops or whatever, I guess I never did the research. Maybe it'll turn out that the numbers that I found were all bullshit. But there's more white folks that have all of that shit happen to them. So I personally think it's an entire generation of lazy pricks that want to pull the race card. And it's sad to see. Buck up and grow a set of cojones. Actually, I would say, or Betty White actually said, you should grow a vagina, because they can take a beating. Okay, so it's very dark. Smells. Oh, I think it smells a little bit like Roy. God, I'm never going to wash this glass. Cheers, guys. What did I say I gave this before? An 8.5? As it turns out, it's one of Roy's favorites, and better hope that number comes up a little bit. Well, I don't remember what I said about it last time. I've had another beer to influence the taste, not the alcohol percent, because that last one was weak. But if I remember, these people know how to do this shit, and it's over 7%. Yeah, it's almost 8%. A lot of deep roasted malts, and that. Yeah, it's almost like an imperial stout meets an oatmeal imperial stout. It's got the characteristics that I would personally expect in an imperial stout, but it's got that little edginess, that nuance that the oatmeal stouts kind of have, like the oatmeal part. Where the hell am I at in this? Oh yeah. You know, like always, I just said, decide what the hell you want me to get you for dinner, and I'll be back in 30 minutes. So we got 6 minutes to go. Now, the one thing I can give him credit for is, and nobody is like, you know, an actual professional brew reviewer, like say Paul over at PA Brew News. You gonna be here for the shoot this year, Paul? I mean, I could hook you up. All that shit that I owe you in beers, you know, we'll just go right over and we'll just fill up the trunk of your car. The one thing that I noticed that seems to be somewhat of a trend when it comes to oatmeal stouts is none of them are usually overly carbonated. You know, usually light. Like, if I sent you oatmeal stout from Lake Superior Brewing, you'd probably say, I almost wondered if this is right, because maybe it got, you know, got the rugby session done to it, like the shit that, it must be a special little place in some delivery guy's heart when it comes to the shit that NIHAP sends, because they just look at that and go, yeah, fuck that guy. When it's delivered in a bag. When it's delivered with 14 of those zip ties around it. This one, definitely, probably, of the oatmeal stouts I've had, probably one of the highest in the felt carbonation. I mean, it's not excessive. I mean, it's not like you feel like you just shook up a can of Coke or anything like that. It's just more what I expect. You know, if Lake Superior Brewers could take their oatmeal stout and give it this level of carbonation, I would think it would almost have reached perfection. Maybe more alcohol. That's just me. For an imperial, probably wasn't my reasoning then. It's going to be my reasoning now. Like it a lot. My recap, my revisit on Dragon's Tooth Imperial Oatmeal Stout from 504 Dirt Dart. Roy, I would say I would up it from an 8.5 to a 9. Just, I don't know, there's just yeah, see, I would up it from 7.5 to a 10 on alcohol. But no, for something like well, I guess maybe it doesn't actually use the words imperial, does it? Oh, for God, we gotta start all over. It's just, it's got decent amount of flavors, but yeah, I was gonna stick to my 9% on the revisit. Very good. I mean, if I saw it, it's another one of those where I kind of wonder what would happen if you stocked up on it. If you let it sit for a little while, if some more of that it's kind of what's like missing in the dimension is the flavors are all there. They're all sort of right, but they just don't have that. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's like you got like a 12-cylinder race car, and it's just like it's like going on 11. One more cylinder, and this would be the shit. Okay, so bright ale tomorrow, Thursday, and again, just reading the comments and stuff from yesterday. Just want you guys to know how much I appreciate all the comments, and it's just such a great bunch of people. I mean, everything. I mean, what can I say? You know, I say what I say is I say cheers to you guys, because that's what makes well, the alcohol too. Probably more the alcohol than you guys, now that I think about it. So, you know, carry on, and we will see you tomorrow. I'm just fucking messing with you, okay? I love you guys. Cheers.